Private sale.
Private sale. So you find individuals directly, you deal with them directly.
Yeah.
How do you find them? Marketing?
I'm an appraiser, so occasionally things.
You're out there every day, so you're finding the deals all on your own because of your job,
Yes.
right? Okay. Anybody else? Anybody want to share with us how you're doing it? Okay. Well, to me, the best way to find a deal is to go directly to the seller. I'm a licensed agent, but I don't know about what things are like in Camp Hill, but where I live, the MLS is flooded with deals. Tons of inventory, okay? If you're just going to go on there and look for a deal, I mean, I bought lots of houses off the MLS, so I'm not criticizing it, but there's better deals found by getting in front of the seller directly. If you don't believe that, man, that is the most important message of tonight that you need to learn, because you're going to have to do marketing to them, or you're going to have to wrap your vehicle, or you're going to have to knock on doors, but if you're willing to do it, that's where the best deals are. And I want to tell you about some of those tonight. So maybe I'll come back to this slide later. I want to keep going, but one of the things that I do is I combine IRA investors with seller financing. And quickly, I'll just explain what I mean by that. I go around and I do public speaking to companies that are the custodians for IRA investors. IRA investors can use their money to invest in real estate, okay? Nobody here's done any IRA deals? No? Okay, all right, we got at least one guy's done it, right? It's a great place to find private investors. Great place. So what I do is I find a seller who wants to sell his house. And then I find an IRA investor who wants to invest in real estate. And I figure out a way to put those two deals, those two players together, and I end up buying a house for myself with none of my own money. Nobody else owns the house except for me. The private investor is totally safe in the deal, and the seller is thrilled. All right? Anyone interested in learning about that? Yeah? All right, I'll give you an example of a deal. Here's how it works. I got my truck, which I get a lot of phone calls on, but I also drop marketing. When I know there's a neighborhood, okay, you can easily go out and pay for marketing and buy a list of free and clear houses in a particular neighborhood that you might like to buy in. And you're going to get, you know, this direct mail campaign. You gotta, you know, if you don't have any direct mail, you gotta go to seminars. People like Richard Roop, and there's lots of great speakers that can give you letters that work. And you take these letters, you send them out to this list, and you will get phone calls back. And when you get these phone calls back, you analyze the deals and you go talk to these people. So let's just say, for example, that in this scenario, you got a house that's worth, the owner thinks it's worth 100 grand, but the houses on the block are selling for 75, 80, okay? But the owner that you're talking to, he owns it free and clear. He's not listing it with a realtor. He's not even selling it. Essentially, it's a house that you want to buy that's really not for sale. So what you want to do is you want to go in front of this guy and you want to talk to him. And for example, real quick, the guy says, you know, look, I want 100 grand for my house. My answer, fine. Everybody today is lowballing, right? That's a lot of people who are out there just offering 60 cents on the dollar on everything they look at. So here comes Phil Falcone, and he's going to give me 100 grand on my $100,000 house. I got the guy's attention now, don't I? Right? So I talk to him and I say, look, I want you to provide seller financing. Now the most beautiful deal in the world is give me 100% seller financing at 0% interest. So I'll give you $500 a month for 200 months. I'll give you $1,000 a month for 100 months, whatever I can work out. But usually those kind of crazy deals don't happen. Here's a more realistic scenario. What happens? After talking to the guy, he explains to me that he needs 30 grand. And I make him tell me what he needs the 30 grand for. What are you going to do with the money? I'm moving to Florida. And what kind of house are you buying? And how much money do you need to buy that house? I make him explain to me exactly what it is. So in this scenario, this guy's going to sell me his house for 100 grand, but he needs $30,000 to make this deal happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to agree to give him 30 grand. Now, here's how the structure works. I'm going to ask him to give me seller financing for $70,000 in second position, okay? He's going to give me, we're going to have a note and a mortgage. I'm going to record it against the house in second position, the seller financing. And I'm going to go to my pals at the IRA custodian companies where I do public speaking, and I'm going to find a private investor who wants to be a first position mortgage holder for 30 grand. Now, there's no risk in that for the private investor, no risk whatsoever. He's in first position with 30 grand on a $100,000 house. He's got 70 grand in equity behind him. Even though there's a seller finance note, there's, he is in first position, he's totally safe. I can pay that guy 8% interest on his money. The payments work out to roughly $200 a month. So, at a 200-month payment period, okay, less than 20 years. So, what do? I go to the seller finance guy. Now remember, I gave him his price. His price was 100 grand, right? Gave him the number he wanted. I gave him his price, so it's his price, but it's my terms. I'm going to decide how much I'm going to pay him every month. That's really important. His price, my terms. So the deal I make with the seller is I'm going to pay him $350 a month for 200 months. Let's say in this example he agrees to it. So I got a $350 second mortgage payment. I got a $200 first mortgage payment. That's $550 a month. If this was a house in Philly, my taxes are pretty cheap, my insurance isn't bad. I mean, if for $700 a month, I can rent this house out for $1,000 a month. Now I got $300 cash flow and property. Nobody owns the property but me, and I got a private investor who's willing to be in it for the long haul. I tell the private investor 3 to 5 years. But let's just suppose that a year and a half later he calls me up and he goes, Phil, I need my money back. Can I get out of this deal? I could easily find another private investor to just replace him, because many people will be happy getting 8% on their money in first position mortgage. So this is the kind of deal that I do. I do a lot of these creatively structured deals. If you're not doing them, you really should think about it, because it's a great, great way to get rich. In case you didn't pick up on it, the seller finance note is a 0% interest note. So every time I make a $350 payment to that guy, that's $350 in principal get paid off on my house. Plus I'm getting the $300 a month in cash flow. And if you think you can't do that, you better wake up, because these are the greatest deals. You could never get away with this stuff before, but in this market, you can definitely get away with it, because there's so many people who just need to sell their properties. And they might not have been comfortable 3 or 4 years ago doing a seller finance note. They will do it now. You have to show them you have good credit, that you're a credible person, that you've been around. But if you're capable of doing that, you can structure a beautiful deal. So another thing I like to talk about is a theory of association. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's real simple. You surround yourself with good quality people, and you basically become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Anybody ever heard that before? Yeah? Okay, well I heard it when I was like 25, and I said, wow, man, that's brilliant, you know? The hard part about this theory is you're supposed to disassociate with everybody who is a negative force on you, okay? That's the hard part. So the first thing I had to do was disassociate with everybody I knew. I had to get rid of all my friends. None of them qualified. But I had one buddy who I thought, well, he's kind of marginally acceptable. So I called him up and I told him, I really want to associate with you. And he became my first friend. And then he had a friend who became my second friend, who was marginally acceptable. To make a long story short, the second friend taught me a technique how to buy houses with no money down, which I describe in my book. It's called the all money down technique. And I took that technique and I bought dozens of properties with it. I actually took the technique that he taught me, I refined it, I tweaked it, I twisted it for myself, and I used it more than he ever dreamed of using it. But the point to the story is that you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose your friends wisely, because the minute I heard this theory, I started to do that and it had an incredibly positive effect on my life. So I love to share it with people no matter where I go. Commercial real estate is what I love. That's where the real excitement is. That's where you can make the big bucks. You can also lose everything you spent your life working on in one deal. So it's very exciting. Right now, with Obama the Destroyer in office, I'm a little terrified to be going out buying commercial real estate. So what I'm doing is I'm cooling my jets on the commercial. I'm waiting see what happens in the political arena. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen in the economic world and see if I can feel good again about what's going on in this country. And when and if that happens, hopefully that's going to happen soon in the next couple of years, I'm diving back into commercial with everything I got. But because right now I'm not comfortable with it, I'm focusing on single-family homes. Why? Because I'm letting the market tell me what to do. The market, there is an overabundance of single-family homes. People are losing their homes everywhere, okay? And I'm not happy about that, but that's where the opportunity is. And they're very safe. Now, they're not as sexy as doing a $3 million office building, but it's safe and it makes sense from a business standpoint. So that's where all my energies are going today. If anybody here ever wants to make videos, I own my own green screen studio. This is in one of my office buildings. I have all the equipment. I'm like a video expert. And if anybody here wants to make videos for your business or ever wanted to make a green screen video, give me a call depending on what you want to do. It can be really cheap. It's only $50 an hour to use the studio if you know how to make your own videos. If you need me to make it for you and film it and edit it and do all that stuff, you know, it would depend on what you want to do, but I would do that for you. It's only 2 hours down the turnpike. So I noticed you guys had Jeffrey Taylor's Mr. Landlord book up front. Anybody here read that book? Yeah? So it's a good book. It's a good book. I saw Jeffrey speak about 15 years ago down by the Philadelphia airport. And one of the things that I thought was brilliant about him is the way that he wouldn't just rent a property to somebody. Renting the property was just the beginning for Jeffrey. What Jeffrey does is he rents you the property, but then he figures, hey, do you need ceiling fans? How about a bed? Do you got a bed? You don't have one? I'll buy one for you and I'll just rent it to you. How about a shed? I noticed you got a couple of daughters. Well, I stole this concept from Jeffrey 15 years ago, and I've been using it successfully for a long time. I call multiple profit generators, which basically it just says, it's forcing you to think outside the box and say, yeah, I'm a landlord and I rent out space to people, but you can make a lot of money doing other things. I do all kinds of things. I don't know how big Jeffrey's portfolio is these days, but I do a ton of this stuff. I got $3 grand a month coming in just on miscellaneous stuff that I'm selling to people who live in my buildings or work in my office buildings. And these are just some of my favorites, but in my book I document all kinds of multiple profit generators and how I make money off of these things, and it's great. Coin-operated washers and dryers, that's an easy one, right? Vending machines, I got vending machines in every building that I can stick them in. Mac machines, you can make a lot of money off of a Mac machine, okay? You can have a dollar for every time somebody uses it, and you don't even have to do anything with it, because there's companies that'll come out and put the cash in and take it out and just split it with you 50-50. So you don't do anything, you just stick it there and then you collect the money. DirecTV, ask yourself this, suppose you got a building, ask yourself, what is it that every person in this building will have? They're going to have cable, right? Everybody's going to have cable, okay? So why not stick a dish on the roof of the building, get the account in your name, and sell it to your tenants, right? Because in my area, DirecTV only charges $4.99 a month for every extra receiver. And I have receivers in all the apartments and all the bedrooms, and I charge $49 a month for the first receiver, and if they want a second one, I just charge them $4.99. So I'm making roughly 50 bucks off of every apartment that I have in my portfolio off of this DirecTV dish. It's a great way to make money. Wireless internet. Wireless internet. The first thing they're going to do is call up Verizon or whoever provides your internet around here, and they're going to get a wireless router, and they're going to pay 25 bucks a month, 30 bucks a month for that service. Sell it to them yourself. Go get a router and wire it. Once you learn how to do it, there's nothing to it. And you can charge people 25 bucks a month for that. Telephone systems. I got some office buildings, and in my office buildings, I have the telephone system. I provide the telephone numbers, and I provide the outgoing service. And I mark up that outgoing service. It's a great profit center. Furniture was an idea from Jeffrey's book. You know, Jeffrey said, well, you don't have a bed? Well, I'll get you a bed. I mean, you know, well, tell me what kind of bed you want. And then he goes out and buys it. And whatever the cost of the bed was, he divides it by 10. Right? So if the bed's $1,000 a month, he's going to charge him $100 a month for the first 10 months. The reason he does that is because he's got a 1-year lease and he wants to make sure the bed is paid for before they leave, just in case they happen to leave with the bed, okay? But let's just say they live there for 4 years. He doesn't drop the $100 a month after the 10 months. He keeps billing them forever. It becomes a great profit center. It can be a pain in the butt when you own furniture and stuff. I own a ton of furniture. I probably have like $150,000 worth of furniture in my properties, and it's a real pain in the butt when you got to like take it out of a building and move it over here and move it